And in this video, I want to demonstrate a strategy that could help you manage the enormous amount of content and new vocabulary in the AP World History course. And this is a strategy that's something I used throughout university that I found really helpful for myself, and it's really just sort of a variation of a classic strategy. So what you're going to need is a computer with internet access and a presentation program. So, that could be PowerPoint, or if you're using a Mac, it would be Keynote, could be OpenOffice, Google Docs, anything like that. But just basically anything that you can use to make slideshow presentations. So I'm going to have a look at the glossary from the Week 2 study notes here. So if you notice in your study notes, there's a list of key terms, and then in brackets it asks you to make cue cards for these key terms. So basically what I'm going to be doing in the video is using Keynote. If you have PowerPoint instead, that's fine. So using the slideshow software to make cue cards. So basically what that entails is looking at the items on the glossary and making a separate slide for each term. So say for example I wanted to make a slide for the Code of Hammurabi. What I want to have is a slide that has a place for a title, a place for content, and a place for a visual. So what do I know about the Code of Hammurabi? It's the first known law code. It was developed by Babylonian king Hammurabi, and this was circa 1790 BCE. Okay, so I just have some key facts, and it's nice to have it in PowerPoint because then later on when you're studying the notes, if you learn new things about the terms, you can just add them right into the notes. So the first part is just getting down sort of like a definition or some key points about the term. And then the next thing you want to do is pull up a visual. So we're going to pull up a visual for the Code of Hammurabi. And the way I use this is just Google Images. Okay, so we have basically a series of visuals here. What you want to do is just pick a visual that you think makes sense to you. So I'm going to form. And I'm just going to bring this over here. So there I have my card for the Code of Hammurabi. So we'll move on. The next term we'll do is ziggurat. And I just finished this this week. I know a ziggurat is maybe the Mesopotamian equivalent of a pyramid. It was built by different groups of Mesopotamian people. They served a religious purpose, and they were made of mud brick. So they didn't really hold up as nicely as the pyramids did. And now I'm going to pull up an image of a ziggurat. And it's thinking. And we have sort of an artist's conception of one here. So we'll just grab this. And there we go, that's better. Okay, so now I have a visual for my ziggurat. So really, like as you can see, this will take you probably 2 or 3 minutes per item, and once you have it made, like you can always go back and add new information to the visual. So when I'm making these, I'm using Keynote on Mac, and I also have an iPhone. So when I make a Keynote presentation, it gets saved on iCloud and it automatically gets sent to my iPhone. So it's really nice to have the presentations on your phone, because then if you're ever spending time on the bus or you find you're in cars a lot, you can just review the PowerPoints that you've made, or the slideshows that you've made with all the key terms on it. It's not saying you have to have an iPhone or you have to have Keynote to do this. So there's lots of apps available where you can, if you have a smartphone, where you can read PowerPoint presentations. If you can't find an appropriate app, you could always save from PowerPoint and save it as a PDF presentation, so you'll have those notes with you. So it's really about finding a way to, like, first finding a program that you can use to create this type of slideshow, and then after that, finding a way to move it onto a place where you'll study it regularly. And what I find is that if you're creating these reviews, you'll be able to remember the information a lot better than if I just give you a glossary review, or a list of terms and the definition for all the terms. So actually the process of looking it up, finding the visual, picking the visual that makes sense, writing your own definition, there's a lot of learning involved in that, so that, like, when you see that term in the future, you'll be much more likely to remember it. So that's going to be the end of this little video here. I recommend you start using this strategy, or something like a variation of it, something that works for you. But I really do think you will need some sort of vocabulary strategy to just retain all the new terms that you're going to be encountering.